Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama.
Hare Krishna. I am Rajarsi Dasa. Welcome to Hare Krishna today. On today's program, we're continuing our series, Brahminical Preparation, or Preparation for the Spiritual Order, Brahminical Initiation. So we are discussing the material nature, the complexities. We are following different questions. So the previous ones we discussed was described in a general way the three modes of material nature. Does the living entity have free will or not? Or does he have free will while still being controlled? What is action? What is forbidden action? What is inaction? We covered those in our previous program. What are the 8 basic material elements? Describe the 5 senses for acquiring knowledge and so on. So we discuss all these in context. That is not just a theoretical thing, but to understand how we, the eternal souls, are bound up in this situation in the material world. And we need to understand how we are pushed around by Maya, the 3 modes of material nature. And so knowing that we are not the body and knowing how we are pushed around, we should be responsible for now contacting the Lord and re-establishing ourselves in our relationship with Him. So now we're going to continue the following questions. What are the functions of the mind, the intelligence, and false ego? Describe the structure of the universe and locate the earth within it. How many different species of life are there? Describe them and explain how the soul evolves through them. How does man change body through reincarnation? So, for the sake of our students, yes, we are preparing, students for initiation, and we're doing this series of programs to assist them in their preparation. So we're going to continue. What are the functions of the mind, the intelligence, and false ego? So we have discussed this many times, but you can go to the Bhagavad Gita verses 4 and 5 of the 10th chapter, and there we can source some definitions, some descriptions. In a general way, the functions of the mind: thinking, feeling, and willing. You think about something, like something to eat, and then you feel there is some subtle pleasure. And then willing, you want to have this. So that's the mind, the functions of the mind. And the mind is a very important faculty when we are dealing with yoga practice and elevation, because remember, we try to put this in some practical context. Otherwise, what is the mind, what are the functions? If you just leave it at that, that's not the purpose. The students for Brahminical initiation must know about how the mind can be your best friend, and the mind can be your worst enemy. When will the mind be your enemy? Dhyayato vishayan pungsa sangashteshu pajayate sangat sanjayate kama kamat krodho vijayate. Krishna says, while contemplating the objects of the senses, a person develops attachment for them. That's not you, right? Not me. Who contemplates the objects for sense gratification? Who turns on the movie and turn on this and thinking about the bodies and contemplating the bodies of the opposite sex and contemplating the music? Who do it? Just some person? Well, we have to be honest about it. When the mind goes off in these different directions, yes. For the common man in this age of Kali Yuga, well, if they're not sadhaka, they're not on the path, they're not jigyasu, seriously inquisitive, and they're not taking up the practice of sadhana, daily spiritual discipline, to attain sadhya, the goal, then what can be said? I mean, sometimes when we say duipadi pashu, two-legged animal, people may be offended. But the scripture says, what is the standard for human beings? So if we're talking about the mind, if the mind can be your worst enemy, do you like your enemy? Huh? Do you go making your enemy stronger by providing for your enemy? What type of spiritualists we are when we just allow our minds to just wander, contemplating the objects. Oh, this song is so nice. Huh? Well, until and unless we understand the science of Krishna consciousness, idam hi pungsas tapasak shutasya va suktasya swishtasya cha bodhi datayo avichuto arta kavibir nirupito yad uttama shloka gunanu varnanam. Learned circles have positively concluded that all the different aspects of the Vedic studies and culture, science, art, everything is meant for uttama shloka gunanu varnanam, for the glorification of God, one who's glorified with choice poetry. You're a musician? Use your music for glorifying God. Who's an example? The popular guy George Harrison. I really want to see you. I really want to know you. Hare Krishna. Yes. George, he wasn't just singing. He was doing Vaishnava Seva. He was serving the pure devotee like Srila Prabhupada, making facility for him to spread the message. Yes, he donated the manna in Watford. Yes, that today millions of people are benefiting from. So, yes, Prabhupada said, he's Hari's son. Yes, George Harrison, Hari's son. Hari is the Supreme Lord. Yes. So anyway, we're dealing with the mind. What about the intelligence? Well, you can get some reference. Yes. Wrong chapter. Let's see. You can look at the 10th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, verses 4 and 5. And there Krishna is saying, Buddhir jnanamas samoha kshama satyam dhamma samaha sukham dukham bhavo bhavo bhayam cha bhayameva cha ahimsa samata tushtis tapo danam yasho yashaha bhavanti bhava bhutanam mata eva pritag vitha. Intelligence, knowledge, freedom from doubt and delusion, forgiveness, truthfulness, control of the senses, control of the mind, happiness and distress, birth, death, fear, fearlessness, non-violence, equanimity, satisfaction, austerity, charity, fame and infamy. All these various qualities of living beings are created by me alone. Who will choose now? Which one you get? What you want, the fear or you want the fearlessness? It is our ignorance or our enlightenment that will determine whether we experience ignorance and doubt or we are experiencing enlightenment. Whether we are controlling our mind and our senses or we're being victimized and being slave of our senses. Anyway, we don't want to go too far away from the point, but we want to give you where you can find the references, and that's why Krishna is saying in the Bhagavad Gita, Tad vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya, that we should try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master with submissive inquiry, not in the challenging spirit. Or just asking. Once somebody came and just wanted to question, Prabhupada said, I'm not an answering machine. You just want to throw out question, but no sevaya. You don't have any submissive inquiry and you don't want to render service to the pure devotee. By rendering service, Shyan Mahat Sevaya Vipra Punya Tirtani Sevada. By rendering service, Vasudeva Kataruchi. Then you will get a taste for or attraction for the Lord. Otherwise, the armchair philosophy of just speculating and analyzing and studying, it won't bring that taste that we're looking for, that attraction for the reservoir of all pleasure. Remember, Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanina. Only by prema will we see Jamshama Sundaramachintya Guna Swarupam, that threefold bending form of the Lord can be seen within the heart. Yes, Pashyantiyam Yoginaha. We have to become yogis. That's why we are dealing with the mind and the intelligence. So let us look at some definitions here. Intelligence refers to the power to analyze things in their proper perspective. And knowledge refers to understanding what is spirit and what is matter. Ordinary knowledge obtained by a university education pertains only to matter, and it is not accepted here as knowledge. Knowledge means knowing the distinction between spirit and matter. In modern education, there is no knowledge about spirit. They are simply taking care of the material elements and bodily needs. Therefore, academic knowledge is not complete. We don't condemn academic knowledge, but it meets its perfection when we understand matter and spirit and the relationship, the constitutional position. That yes, the eternal soul comes from someone. It has a constitutional position or relationship. Jivira Swarup, the Swarup of the Jiva or the soul, is Nitya Krishna Das. Jiv Krishna Das, E Bishvas Korle Tuar Dukhanai. Yes. When we have that conviction that the Jiva is Nitya Krishna Das, it is only at that point when we understand ourselves to be eternal servants of God, when we are situated, not just to know theoretically, but when we are actually situated as a servant, hearing, chanting, and glorifying all thoughts, words, and deeds for His pleasure, it is then correlated to our dukhanai. Yes, all dukh, all suffering will go away, because at that point the actions won't produce a reaction. We are not acting in ignorance. We are acting constitutionally in our relationship with the Lord. That's our Sanatan Dharma. So that's the definition of knowledge, to know what is matter and spirit. Not just that we cultivate knowledge, we analyze the atoms and the molecules and this and that, and we don't know who it is coming from. That's why Krishna says, Aham Sarvasya Prabhavu, I am the source of everything. And the person who knows that, Buddha, he is wise. And if you don't know that, Krishna doesn't describe you as wise, he describes you otherwise. He says there are 4 types of persons who don't surrender to me, and they're not Buddha or intelligent or wise. They're Mudha, grossly foolish, Naradhama, lowest among mankind, Maya Paharita Gyan, they're very educated fellows. Academically, technologically, they may have a great deal of knowledge, but it is stolen by Maya. You know, as Krishna told Arjuna, Arjun, Pragyavadam Shabhasase. Oh, you're speaking very learned words, Pragyavad. You're speaking like you're a very learned man. But you're mourning for what is not worthy of grief. Nanu shochanti panditaha. An actual learned man, he laments neither for the living nor for the dead. He knows the reality. Abhayam sattva samshudhir. He is fearless. He knows the actual situation. So he was chastising Arjuna because in Kali Yuga there are many fools who have all kinds of degree and this knowledge and this education. But when it comes to knowing Veda and Vedanta and knowing their identity and their relationship with God, They are far distant. Or sometimes theoretically they do cultivate knowledge, but if you examine their life, their sadhana, their daily spiritual discipline, then you see we thin out the ranks now, yeah. Who are the practitioners of spirituality? How much time in 24 hours the thoughts, words, and actions are directed towards the Supreme? Then we get an idea who is spiritualist and who is materialist. Yes. A great deal of official religious practice. Yes. But, yes, the words sound very high, but the actions go very low. Yes, that's what happened. The words, very high, elevated words. Pragyavad, very nice speech about God and this and that. But the actions, very low. So we don't want that. They say if you don't follow, you will fall low. Yes. So Krishna wants us to follow. Yes, he's saying, Ye Shastra Vidhim Utsrija. If you give up this Shastra Vidhi, the rules of the scriptures, and instead Vartate Kama Karata, you just act out of lust. Huh? Just, if it feels good, do it. Just go for it. Nasa Siddhim Avapnoti. There is no perfection. Nasukam, you won't actually be happy. Or if you think you're happy, you're in illusion, illusory happiness. Maya Sukhaya Bharam Udvahato Vimudan. The fools, Maya Sukhaya, running after the Maya Sukha, the illusory happiness. So that's not what we are talking about. We are talking about tapo divyam, bold and brave to take some divine austerity for brahmasukha, for spiritual happiness, to anantam, that is unending, that is eternal. That is befitting the human beings. How you can get eternal happiness. Not just running after the same thing like the dogs and hogs. Yes, what Lord Rishabhadev says? Nayam deho deha bhajam nriloki kashtan kaman arhati vidbhujam ye tapo divyam putrakayena sattvam shuddhidyasmat brahmasaukyam tu anandam. Speaking to his sons, Lord Rishabhadev said, my dear boys, of all the souls that have received bodies in this world, the ones that have a human form. Now remember one of the questions. How many species of life are there? Describe them and explain how the soul evolves through them. And how does man change body through reincarnation? We have these to come yet. But yes, Lord Rishabhadev says, all souls have material bodies, dog, cat, hog, whatever. But the ones that have a human form should not labor hard. Vidbhuja in Sanskrit means stool eaters, dogs and hogs. Having a human form, you shouldn't labor day and night like hogs and dogs just to get something to eat and some sex and just to protect. No. What then? Tapo divyam. Tapo divyam, bold and brave to perform some divine austerity. What for? Shuddhi, to cleanse the consciousness. Why? Brahmasukha, to get spiritual happiness, to anantam, that is unending, that is eternal. That's the type of happiness we should be running after. We should be eager to perform some penance for a higher gain. That is what penance or austerity is. To perform, to undergo some difficulty, some pain for a higher gain. We say no pain, no gain. Even on the material platform, someone wants to get a good occupation, you want to become a doctor or something, then it takes some penance, some austerity. So if in this life you just want to be a doctor and work hard for some years, you have to put so much austerity to work hard to get some good result. Huh? What to speak of if you want to go to Goloka Vrindavan, the eternal world, and enjoy the company of the Supreme Lord in spontaneous love. How do you think it will just descend upon you? Nayam Sukhapu Bhagavan Dehi Nam Gopika Sutta Jnani Nam Chatma Bhutanam Yatha Bhakti Matamiha. That Krishna, the son of Mother Yashoda, he cannot be attained so easily. No, not by people who Maya Sukhaya, just running after Maya Sukha. No. But Yatha Bhakti Matamiha. Yes, those persons who engage in devotion, not speculation. Lord Brahma says, Jnane prayasa mudapashyanta namanta eva. Yes, those who throw away the process of mental speculation and they hear Shutigatam Tanuban Manobhir, hearing the glories of the Lord. For those persons, yes, Jita Jitopi Sita is Trilokyam, they conquer. Krishna is Ajit, he is unconquerable. But these devotees who are attracted to hearing his glories, they can conquer him. So, this point we are dealing with about what is real knowledge, knowledge of matter and spirit. The modern education system, one-sided, imbalance. Is there any wonder why, like mudhas, foolish persons, avidya karma samgyanya, ignorance is characterized by hard struggle for existence and always discontented, striking, we're not getting enough money, we don't have this, we don't have that, we want better. But what state of consciousness are we in? You think we're going to be happy in material consciousness? Material consciousness means shochati and kangshati, always hankering and always lamenting. That's what material consciousness is. The only person who will really be happy is when we come to spiritual consciousness. Yes, prasan atma, when we become joyful from within. And that will come when we are situated in spiritual consciousness. We are no longer trying to exploit other living beings. Sama sarveshu bhuteshu, sama sarveshu. We equally disposed to all living beings. We're not cutting the throat of some poor beings just to feed our tongue. We are not just putting some intoxicants to stimulate our system. Not that type of person could be prasan atma or joyful within. No, not that type of person. People who are willing to regulate, control the senses, Krishna says, for them, Eke Hakuru Nandana, O Arjun, beloved child of the Kurus, their aim is one, they're resolute in purpose. Those who are not on this path, Bahusaka Hianantascha, their consciousness many branch. Here they're running after all kinds of thinking about this, running after that, running. Bahusaka Hianantascha, Samadho na vidhyate, for them, no samadhi, they cannot attain any real perfection. So, to bring about this real perfection that we are talking about, we have to know what is matter and what is spirit. Of course, the other one, we said intelligence. Let us look at this. Intelligence refers to the power to analyze things in their proper perspective. Now think about it. Is it really worth it to invest the whole lifetime of human energy for what? How long duration of life do we have, and how much pleasure are we going to squeeze out? Is it really intelligence? Or are we just impelled by Maya, just running after sense gratification? Is that buddhi, intelligence? So is there any wonder that despite all our advancement in technology and all kind of scientific advancement, that we have a corrupt and confused and chaotic world today? Is there any wonder? Because intelligent means to analyze things in proper perspective. You have a human form with developed intellect. So what are you using the developed intellect in the human form for? To complicate the same things that the animals are doing? Eat, sleep, mate, and defend, and you want to get PhD and get credit and be estimated as very elevated and very learned for that? No. That's not what you get credit for as a human being. As a human being, you get credit for advancing the understanding of the soul and its relationship with its source. Vedanta means to understand the cause, the source. Janmadya Setaha. You know the source and you know everything that comes from the source and its constitutional position, its relationship with the source. In the age of Kali Yuga, to have a pure devotee like Srila Prabhupada descend on the material world and open the eyes of millions of people, it is not an ordinary phenomenon. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Yuga avatar, the incarnation for the age of Kali Yuga, he came and gave the Yuga Dharma, the chanting of the holy names. Of course, the holy names is chanted by materialists just to boost their false prestige and all of that. But if we have the company of sadhus, saintly persons, and we chant the holy names with proper understanding, then we can attain the highest perfection in life. So we are looking at what are the functions of the mind, the intelligence, and the false ego. But unfortunately, we have run out of time and we didn't describe the false ego. So in our next program, we'll pick up from the false ego and we'll continue. I'm Rajarsi Dasa saying Hare Krishna, and do join us again next week for a continuing presentation.